Alright, today I'm going to get into the Monster Manual, the third and final book that is considered the Holy Trinity of D&D. And the first two being the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide, which I've already gone over. So this one gives pretty much I'm kind of loath to say a complete list of monsters, but it does give like a nice long list of monsters that you can use. So like you got the index, which gives you the index of all the monsters that are in here. So what it does is it has it alphabetically, so which makes things easier to find and everything. So you don't necessarily have to go into the index. You know okay, well, with the vampire being starting with V, it's going to be near the end, versus with dragon being a D is near the beginning. So it's got like a quick introduction on like how to use this book, and gives you an idea of where they dwell and everything. So you have ideas of where you can find monsters. So for instance, the vampire, you wouldn't necessarily find a vampire in the middle of a dungeon. I mean, you could and everything. You'd be more likely you'd find him in like a castle or something, sort of like in the adventure of the Curse of Strahd, which will be something I'll eventually get into. So this first section is like I said, the whole introduction, and gives you ideas on what you can do, and it uses what's known as a CR, a challenge rating. So it gives you a guide on what you can do for different levels of play. So for instance, a CR or challenge rating 20 would be something would be like a massive an ancient red dragon, sort of how Bilbo fought against Smog the dragon. That would be something that would be considered a CR 20. So you wouldn't necessarily run a group in their first adventure as level ones up against an ancient red dragon. You'd more likely run them up against some orcs and everything that would be much lower, a CR1 or challenge rating of 1. And this gives an idea of the experience per challenge rate and everything. So it gives you an idea on how to dole out experience and everything. And goes into further detail and on things like legendary creatures, like the ancient red dragon that I mentioned. So then, as you can see, it gets right into alphabetical order. So I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but the Era Kokra, in the Dungeons and Dragons movie, Honor Amongst Thieves, Jonathan was an Era Korka, the one that first appeared when Chris Pine's character was escaping from the prison in the Icewind Dale area. So this pretty much goes, like I said, alphabetically. So you can see this part against this is an angel part, the sub-series. Gives a description of description of angels, and then what it'll do is give different types of angels that you can use, sort of the diva, the planetar, and then the one here, the solar. So it gives you ideas a subcategory. So then it's got also different types of creatures you can come across, like an Ankhed that you can come across in the wilderness. So it gives a kind of like I said, a alphabetical order of monsters. So and of course this is Beholder is one of the probably the most more popular ones. And so people familiar with Forgotten Realms probably knows a Xanathar. And of course there's a supplement book, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which would be a supplemental to these three, the Holy Trinity as it's called. So this in a sense gives these different types of the beholders that there are. So like I said, it gets into subcategories of some of the different types of monsters, especially with dragons and everything. So you can see the artwork itself is actually in my opinion actually pretty good. So bugbear is one of the common ones that people come across, sort of the goblins and stuff. So good old Cyclops from Greek mythology is in here. And so Death Knight is another popular uh, uh, high level type of creature that you can fight and everything. So like fans of the Dragonlance will probably remember Lord Soth, who was the Death Knight in the Dragonlance series, and like he appears in like Shadow of the Dragon Queen adventure series, which is another one I'll eventually be getting into and everything. So like and right here you can see like a picture of the Balor, which is a type of like a demon. So like you can get into like the different like as I'm flipping through, it gives like these are like demons. Like I said, it gives like detailed descriptions of the different types of like demons that you can come across and everything. So like the Balor here is just one of the demons that like you can come across, and of course like people looking at this picture might like go, oh hey, that looks like the Balrog from Lord of the Rings and everything. So like so which like you can always like use like pop culture to like kind of make your own uh, monsters and everything. So like I know like Papa Lycan on TikTok, he's like a creator of like D&D stuff. So he's done like a few videos of creating monsters and everything. So like now this part is actually getting into like devils, which is like the different type of like evil creatures. So you got like your demons and devils, which is like a kind of they abide in different kind of like the lower planes, like the abyss or like the nine hells. Like demons are in the nine hells, and like the devils are in the abyss type of deal. So, I mean, someone can correct me if I'm wrong and double check that if I misspoke on that. So like I said, this book is completely like a alphabetical order. So like you can do right in order on like looking for each type of monster and everything. So like for like a instance dragons are like another like one where like it gives you like a general like that's the Draco Lich. And it gives like this one's the Shadow Dragon. What it does, it breaks it down into like a subspecies of dragons. So like it's pretty much like starts off with a description of like dragons, and then like it gives like a category by like age, because like as like dragons become older, they become bigger and more powerful, and like the CR, the challenge rate that I spoke of early on, is where like it gets into like how they rate the challenge that each dragon like would face. So, like if you're facing off like against a baby dragon, it's not necessarily as challenging as like you face off get like an ancient dragon that would be probably similar in size to that and everything. So like you can see like the black dragon right there. So the dragons are like categorized into like either the chromatic dragons or the metallic dragons. Like the chromatic dragons are like evil, so like your black ones, and your green dragons, basically like your colored dragons are like your evil ones, and then like your metallic dragons, sort of like a bronze dragon. Of course, you got like a copper dragon here, and like I think the most popular two of them are like the gold dragon right here, and then the silver dragon is another popular one. You can see like a picture of the silver dragon right here. So though the metallic dragons tend to be like the good ones, whereas the chromatic ones tend to be evil. So like but it gives you stats on them, so you can quite possibly write them up as NPCs. So like for instance, like using Dragonlance for instance, like the whole the books, the chronicles, the legends, and everything, like all geared towards like the War of the Lance, and so like you could use like a character, like write up characters like that for dragons. So now I'm going to reiterate that like while this book isn't necessarily like a necessity, because you can get away with just using the player's handbook and everything, because they do have a few monsters in the back. What the reason why like the player's handbook, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and the Monster Manuals is considered the Holy Trinity, is that like with these three books, like you get more than enough material to like be able to like run not only adventures but campaigns for years, maybe even decades and everything. So like of course I say decades, and stuff that comes out like new editions come out every so often, because I remember when I was in high school, and I'm probably going to date myself with this. I was first introduced with the a second edition, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons second edition, way back in like the '90s, and of course I can remember when third edition came out. Then like a 3.5 came out, and this book is part of like a fifth edition. So you can see like the over decades, different iterations of uh, uh, editions of the same game can come out and everything. So well, now, uh, well, like I said, that you can get away with just the player's handbook. The DM guide would be great for like a dungeon master, and so would this and everything. So as players, say you have a group of 5 friends, they could each would only necessarily need the player handbook, but you as the DM, the DM guide plus this would be like a great addition, and that's why I guess I'll reiterate, these are considered the holy trinity of books when it comes to like running D&D. Is so that way, as a DM, you have all these different tools at your disposal. So you can not necessarily keep running people up against orcs and goblins and stuff. You have a whole litany of different monsters. You can, of course, you also got different types of giants that you can run into. So for instance, you could run a Nordic mythology type campaign and run them up against ice giants, which you could in a sense run them as the gods, like Odin and Thor and stuff, and oh hey, we're gonna go slay some ice giants and everything. So that you could do something like that and everything. So of course you got the little goblins, which are some of the most common type of monsters that you come across. And so the artwork in here, I think, is actually pretty good. And everything gives it a great description of the different monsters and everything. So good old kobolds are another of the common ones. So now here's a lich, which is another type of a powerful undead, which you could run as what's called the BBEG, the big bad evil guy. And so liches tend to be kind of the stereotype for that, along with the vampires, the Curse of Strahd that I mentioned. So this whole book, like I said, gives a whole litany of monsters that you can run. Of course, it also gets into lycanthropy. So not only can you do werewolves, but you can see different types of animals, like a werebear, wereboar, even were-rats. So they consider lycanthropy a curse, so that way you're not just running the good old werewolf. You can have different types of stuff, like the ones I mentioned, plus the were-tiger. So it gives you even more options of doing more than just your stereotypical motifs of the vampire or the werewolf, or the goblins and orcs and stuff like that. So and like I said, this is completely alphabetical order. So as you're going through, you can see that each different type of monster. So you can flip through okay, well, I know I'm looking for a vampire, so I can sit here and flip through all the way back to where the V is, and find the vampire. And of course you can also once I get my hand out of the way, you can see the wyverns, which are kind of different than the dragons. And of course people are will sit there and Skyrim fans will say, oh hey, look, that's a Skyrim dragon. It's yeah, and the joke is that Skyrim doesn't have dragons, it has wyverns. And so they just hold that joke and everything. So and so this book is great in that it gives you a whole litany of and just like the player's handbook, it gives you stats of different creatures in the back and everything that you can run through. So it expands on the I got the picture of the vampire here. So it expands on the creatures, the few creatures that they do have in the player's handbook, and gives you much more to work with when it comes to running monsters as a dungeon master. So now this one's relatively shorter because as I said, this is like pretty much like a book that's just devoted to the monsters. So like it's a relatively easy, like I say in quotes or whatever, easy read because like it gives you like a, like I said, all the monsters alphabetically, and like yeah, as you can see, like it gives like subsets of like or in a sense sub races like the dragons for like instance like the chromatic and like the metallic dragons. It gives you like different types of lycanthropy, like I mentioned, like instead of running just werewolves, you can run werebears type of deal. So it gives you much more options to run your players through. So well, like I'll reiterate that you might only necessarily need the player's handbook to run a game. So like it would be a great way to start. Like if you're looking to get a group together and like you only have maybe $50 to spend or to start off with, you get the player's handbook and you can jump right in, and then you can pick up the Dungeon Master's Guide and Monster Manual as you go, as you learn how to as you continue down the adventure and everything. So each of these core rule books is only $50 and everything. So what you can do is you can either go to one of your local gaming stores, or you can get stuff off of Amazon and everything. So and while it's I find someone like me finds it easy. Like, okay, look, I can just pull up my phone and order something online through Amazon or something. I'm big on supporting local stores and everything. So it's not too hard. If you're going like for me, instance, the town that I find my stores in is a good 20-minute drive. So maybe when I'm on my way to work, I can go in early, pick up a book or whatever on my way to work and everything. So I'm big on supporting local stores and everything. So like I said, for $150 you can get all three and have I said, years if not decades worth of material to be able to run through adventures and everything. So next week I'm probably going to start getting into some of the supplemental guides that you can get into. So and eventually after I get probably through some of those, I'll be getting into other stuff that I have and other stuff that I'll probably be picking up to showcase for people. So a big alternative to D&D is Pathfinder, so I'll be getting into that pretty soon. So until next week.